Hi friends, and welcome to Astro Flow, the combination of astrology and yoga to help you surf the cosmic currents and soothe what ails you along the way. My name is Michael. I'm an astrologer and yoga instructor here in New York City, and I'm really excited to join you for the November 7th, 2018 new moon in Scorpio. If you joined me for the last episode of Astro Flow, you remember we talked about this Venus retrograde that we're in the middle of and how this is a powerful time for us to reevaluate our own personal value systems. What your sign is will really just show where this is landing in your life, where this is ringing true, and where these values are being looked at. So we've been going through this retrograde and things have really been sifting and we're really getting clear and we're really walking out on our own on this new foundation we've created during this time. But the Venus retrograde will wrap up here in the next week, wrapping up on October 15th into the 16th. And as soon as that finishes up, we go into a Mercury retrograde. But remember what we said last time, retrogrades are not a bad thing. Retrogrades are beautiful times to look inward. You just have to know how to work with the energy as it shifts. And that's what this is all about. The new moon always happens in whatever sign the sun is in. And if your sun or moon or rising sign are in Scorpio, this can be a really powerful time for a reset. Scorpio energy is about getting to the bottom of the barrel. It's about death and decay and decomposition, but that's only one very small part of the process. That's just sort of like reading the intro. The meat and potatoes of Scorpio is about the process of taking that death and decay and it becoming fertile soil for new change. This new moon comes in just as we've been really kicking and screaming and digging our heels into certain areas wherever our resistance really is. We're gonna tire ourselves out. It's like a 2-year-old throwing a temper tantrum. You know, eventually you're gonna realize, oh, all this stuff that I'm fighting against with myself is totally useless. And it is just exhausting me. And that is what this new moon brings, is like, all right, as you tire yourself out, what's your new way? So the next day, Jupiter moves into Sagittarius. So Jupiter is one of the larger planets, so it affects us pretty heavily. If I want things to work out most in my favor, Jupiter is this planet that it's very jovial and it's the giver of gifts. So where I want to receive my gifts most is wherever Jupiter is. And when Jupiter moves into Sagittarius from Scorpio, out of this new moon energy, from this bottom of the barrel, willing to look at the wound to clean it and let it heal and turn over the soil energy into Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the sign of growth and expansion, of higher learning, of travel, of greater community and diplomacy. It's the last fire sign in the cycle, so in the series of 3 fire signs. It's about what you do with the fire. Do you use the fire to light your way? Do you use it to read by? Do you use it to protect? Do you use it to hurt? Do you use it to cook? Are you using it? How are you using your fire? This Scorpio new moon is really drying everything out, and it's that dry ground that we're able to really strike the match and light our own inner fire, that thing that we're looking to bring, what that fire is and how we're gonna see it change in the world. Moving forward, that light needs to be protected. So this value system has created for you a way for you to not only protect that light, but keep it burning by staying true to your intentions. Let me paint the metaphor. We have this moon and Jupiter shifting into Sagittarius, and these are really the anchors to this bow. And I like this metaphor because Sagittarius is represented by the archer. So we've had this Venus retrograde value system, and it's created for us this beautiful arrow. And this arrow is this clear aim and this clear direction. And as we load it up into the bow and arrow, we have this period of time when Jupiter has shifted into Sagittarius, and we've had the Venus retrograde. So Venus will turn direct, and right after that, Mercury goes retrograde. So it will feel a little bit like a false start, but it's really not. That was just loading the arrow up into the bow. When the Mercury retrograde starts, it's pulling back. And so that's gonna be a slow, long process. But once Mercury goes direct again, that's when the arrow is fired, we will start having Capricorn energy coming in. Not only have we set our aim and had our clear focus and we're focusing on learning more, but now we're ready to pursue our goals and climb our mountains. We are in line and in integrity with our truths, and we're moving forward. That is what this new moon has the ability to set you up for. But what's very important is that we do not listen to anyone but our own intuition. And because we have been honing it during this retrograde, and it's up to us now to focus and aim our own new direction. And the name of the game here is fulfillment. This really has the potential to be lasting. The energy in the sky is ready to really lock things in place, man. To find out more about what I do and find out ways that you can practice with me, you can visit my website at mindful-michael.com. I'm going to be assisting on a wonderful retreat in January in Chinalani, Mexico, for the Resolutions 2019 yoga retreat. And I'm going to be offering my custom malas there, and I'm going to be giving an astrology talk by a bonfire underneath the stars. As far as our flow today, it is all level. It's in 3 main cycles. I recommend having a block. If you don't have a block, use a book. And have a folded blanket, especially if you have sensitive knees. And I hope you enjoy. Namaste.
All right, friends, as we come onto our mat today, we'll come into Supta Baddha Konasana to start. So lying on your back, you'll have your knees bent, feet flat on the floor, and as you settle into the pose, the knees will fall away from each other and the bottoms of the feet will come to touch. As you settle in, just allow gravity to open the hips for you. With each exhalation, they get heavier. And settle into the breath. You can place one hand on the belly and one hand on the heart. And we're going to expand our breath into a few different places today. Begin by breathing all the way down to the pelvic floor. Allow the low belly to relax and feel it open and spill with air. Notice how easy it is for your exhale to simply drift out of you. Notice any places you might still be holding tension and allow it to let go, riding out of the lungs. Draw the breath low into the belly. And feel how long the breath is along the torso. Moving the breath into the sides of the rib cage. Feeling either side as you inhale, you widen. Feel that expansion. Using the breath to open out. Softening through the core. Feeling yourself buoyant and full of air. Now breathing into the top of the chest, begin to open the arms wide, feeling yourself expand in all directions. As you exhale, draw the belly button to the spine and bring the knees together, feet flat on the floor. You walk the feet outside of hip width apart and turn the toes in towards each other. Allow the knees to fall in. Then hug the arms across the torso, nice and tight. And bring the elbows up to cover the face. This is a reconstructive rest position. Feeling this closed in space, you may decide to open the shoulders by framing the head with the elbows. Allowing the arms and the hips to get this inward rotation while still opening and lengthening through the core, soothing for the body. On your next inhale, you'll bring the arms wide to either side and bring the feet back to parallel, knees in line with hips. Walk the feet outside of mat width apart and flex the toes up towards the knees. You'll start to windshield wiper the knees, keeping the feet flexed, pivoting on the heels. This protects the knee joint. Staying active through the ankles, allow the hips to open and lubricate. Eventually, you'll allow your knees to fall both over to the right side and find a restful space there. Allow yourself to open out through the waist and lengthen along the side of the torso. ease into this simple fallen space. And if it feels good for you, you can pick up the right foot and gently rest it on top of the left knee. This little bit of added weight can feel nice to help open out the front of the left hip and waist. But for some, the knee is a little too tender, and if so, just leave this part out. When you've had enough, you can gently ease the right foot off the left knee and return back to this windshield wiper position, pivoting on the heels, helping the hips open out, releasing that deep stretch we just took. Giving a few times side to side, the breath full. With an exhale, allow both knees to fall over to the left side this time and find this easy opening position. Relaxing through the center of the chest, through the belly, and into the hips. If it feels good, you can pick up the left foot and gently rest it on top of the right knee. Again, if this is a little too tender for you, it's alright to just leave it out. This is simply to help open out the front of the hip and the waistline a little further. Gently releasing the left foot off of the right knee, you'll move the hips side to side once more, releasing and returning back to parallel. Hug the knees into the chest nice and tight and offer little rocks side to side to massage the low back along the floor. Maybe you release the hands to the kneecaps and draw little circles to massage the low back on the earth. Enjoying this time, this soothing space. Switching directions in that circle if it feels good. And we'll get a little deeper into the hips, so stay holding onto the right knee and extend the left leg out along the floor. Let this be nice and relaxed. As you exhale and bring the right knee towards the chest to open out that right hip, you think of lengthening and relaxing through the left leg. Hold on tight with the right elbow and bring the right knee out to the side. You can counterbalance with the left arm, giving a little side hip opening. As you exhale, you'll gently carry the knee across the body towards the left side. Right arm comes out to a T, and the head can fall over to the right for a nice little twist. Remember to keep both shoulder blades on the floor. If the right shoulder blade lifts off the earth, you'll lose the integrity of the twist. Shoulder blades stay flat. The knee is what backs off. Gently bend the left leg and allow the right ankle to catch on the left knee as you return back to center. Reach the right hand through the hole you've made and interlace the hands behind hamstring or across the shin. Take a little figure 4 here and ease your right hip open. You can leverage the right elbow against the right knee to deepen. Relax through the jaw and let the neck reach long along the earth. Collarbones wide, shoulder blades flat. Gently releasing the bind, you'll bring the left foot flat on the floor and inhale, send the right foot straight up towards the ceiling. Roll out the ankle, crunch the toes, get any creaks out, and shake out the leg, let things release. We'll bring the foot flat to the floor again. So hugging the knees back into the chest nice and tight, offering something for the low back, whatever feels good for you. Stay holding onto the left knee and extend the right leg out along the mat. Let it relax and soften. Can you soften between the toes even? With the left arm, you'll carry the left knee out to the side. The right arm will come out to a T to counterbalance. Send the left hip crease down towards the right foot. Keep a nice solid breath. Soften across the face and any places where you might gather tension. As you exhale, you can gently bring the knee across the body towards the right shoulder. The left arm will come out to a T to counterbalance this. Again, keep both shoulder blades flat. Back off of the twist if the shoulder blade picks up. Allow yourself to soften into the twist. Begin to bend the right leg. It'll catch the left ankle, and as you return back to center, you'll find yourself in figure 4. Reach the left hand through the hole you've made between the thighs and interlace the hands behind the hamstring or over the shin. As you soften here, use the left elbow as leverage to open the left hip. Keep the torso long, shoulders away from the ears, jaw unclenched. You might offer a few rocks side to side, just to release anything in the hip, keeping the breath full. When you've had enough, you can release the bind and bring the right foot flat to the floor. You'll inhale and send the left leg straight up towards the sky, flexing strong through the ankle. Really find a reach through the heel. You can point and flex the foot, roll the ankles, crunch out the toes. Allow yourself to release anything that might still be lingering. You can shake out the leg. And when you're ready, hug both knees back into the chest nice and tight. And begin to rock and roll the length of your spine from head to tail. If this doesn't feel great for the spine against the earth, you can simply meet us sitting. But generate some momentum if it feels good. Really get some rocking going and begin to find that point when you balance on the hips. Enjoying this, maybe you get a little playful with it. And when you've had enough fun with it, you can find yourself in a seated cross-legged position and walk the torso over, just bowing in, nice and easy. Take a moment to pause here, softening in the back of the heart, breathing into the back of the body. Sit on up, walking the hands in. Lift tall through the spine and interlace the hands behind the back. The heels of the hands seal together. Send the knuckles back and down, really rolling the heart open. Breathe into the chest, and maybe open out the sides of the neck. Noticing what feels good for you here. When you've had enough, you can release the hands. And plant the hands in front of you. Send the feet back to a plank. Zip up the core and reach the heels back, lengthening out behind the knees. You may lower onto the knees if it feels better for you. Just keep the hips in line with shoulders. Really rolling the shoulders onto the back. Inhale and lengthen in your plank, and as you exhale, press the earth away, sending the hips back to down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pedal out the feet, tread out, sit into one hip versus the other. Really move into this pose today. Press strong through the whole hand. Don't leave any of that behind. The base of the knuckles, the fingertips, the outer edges of the palms. Allow the shoulders to slide away from the ears towards the hips and settle into this pose. Releasing tension where you can. Soften in the knees and walk the hands back towards the feet, towards the back of your mat, and find a forward fold. You can cross in the elbows and hang, maybe swaying side to side. A little bend in the knees will help the low back get a nice full release here. You can release the arms and shake the head no. Nod the head yes. Releasing tension, roll it around maybe so. And soften in the knees. Curl under in the pelvis and drive the heels into the earth. Slowly rolling up, full breaths, feeling your pelvis come under your base of support. And feel each vertebrae fill in. When you reach the top, inhale, roll the shoulders by the ears. Exhale, let them settle down the spine and bring the hands to heart center. Samastitihi. We'll begin our first cycle with a sun salutation. Inhale, send the hands high overhead, and exhale, swan dive wide up and over for a forward fold. Inhale, find a flat back, grow out of the top of the head, really find the flattened spine. As you exhale, draw the belly button into the spine, get long and drape over. Feel the release. Inhale, halfway lift once more. Grow the heart off of the hips, roll the shoulders onto the back. Feel a lift as you lengthen. Exhale, drape over. Last one of these. Inhale, lengthen and lift. As you exhale, you'll soften in the knees and walk the hands forward to a plank. Nice and strong. Zip up the quads, belly button in. Lower down, elbows in nice and close. Untuck the toes, lower the knees, and slide into Sphinx, elbows directly under the shoulders. Press the hands into the earth and pull the heart forward. Can you lengthen and soften through the back, down the hips, out through the soles of the feet and the toes? Relax in the throat, and lengthen, widening in the elbows to lower down. Hands slide under the chest, tuck the toes under, zip up behind the knees. As you exhale, press the earth away, top of a push-up. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, hips go back to down dog, and you tread it out. Nice and easy. Let's settle into our down dog, really allowing the heels to drip. Softening in the knees if we need to release the sits bones towards the corner of the ceiling and the wall. If the wrists are tender, you can roll up the front edge of your mat. It creates a little bit of extra padding that you can use. Working from this space may help you stay a little longer in this pose. However, it is early on in our practice, so if you can stand to be with the discomfort, do so, and use that a little later on. As you press the earth overhead, let the shoulders relax away from the ears. Use the fingertips, peace fingers, outside edge of the palms, all involved. Inhale, soften in the knees, and walk the hands back in towards the feet. Find the forward fold. Extend the legs as you bow. Inhale, find the halfway lift, reaching long. And exhale, belly button to spine, drape over, nice and easy. Inhale and reverse swan dive all the way up, reaching nice, wide, and long. And exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale and drive the heels into the earth. Send the hands high up overhead. As you exhale, send the tailbone and crown wide in either direction to swan dive over. Inhale, find the halfway lift, reaching out of the spine. Exhale, bow over, soften in the knees, and walk out to a plank. Nice and strong. Exhale, lower down, elbows in towards the torso. Lower the knees down and untuck the toes. From where you are, roll the shoulders up and back. Keep the elbows pinned in tight. You grow out at the top of the head to lift for cobra. Keep the tops of the feet glued down to the earth. Soften and lengthen through the soles. Exhale, lengthen out of the top of the head to lower down. Tuck the toes under, and as you exhale, press to the top of a push-up. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, send it back to a down dog. Heels drip, hips reach. Noticing how this pose has already opened up to you more. With your next inhale, you're going to float the right heel up towards the sky. Keep the foot flexed and the toes point straight down. We want the right hip to stay square towards the earth. Can you press the earth away with the same 3 connection points you have? With an exhale, you'll gently lower the foot back down. And inhale, float the left heel up this time. Ankles still flexed, toes still point straight down. Keep the hips square, pressing through the whole hands. With an exhale, the left leg gently floats back down. You'll inhale, soften in the knees, and walk the hands back towards the feet. Bow in for the forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift, reaching out of the hamstrings. Exhale, belly button into drape. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up, reaching high and long, feet drive. Exhale, take the hands to heart center, samastitihi. Final round. Inhale, drive the feet into the earth as you send the hands high overhead. Exhale, swan dive over, let it feel luxurious. Inhale, find the halfway lift. Exhale, soften in the knees and walk out to a plank. Nice and strong. Feel how direct this energy is when you get there. Out of the top of the head, inhale. As you exhale, lower down, knees, chest, chin this time. We roll through the top of the head, grow out and long. Rolling into upward dog, press the hands to lift the heart and the hips. The tendency is to collapse through the shoulders, but instead press strong through the hands to lift the heart up. You'll notice a difference in the neck. You can soften and relax. With an exhale, you'll send the hips up and back, roll over the tops of the feet, and find your full down dog. Settle and enjoy. With an inhale, we'll float the right heel up. Keeping the foot flexed, toes point straight down, reach long through the inseam. Exhale, let it settle down. Inhale, float the left heel up just the same, seeing how much height you can get while keeping the hips square. With an exhale, you'll lower back down. Inhale, soften in the knees. And exhale, walk the hands back in towards the feet. Find the forward fold, bow in. Final time. We'll take Padahastasana, sliding the palms of the hands underneath the feet. Bring the toes so they're all the way up to the wrist crease. You may have to soften in the knees quite a bit to make this accessible. If you wiggle the toes, you might find it's a massage for the wrists. You can inhale and soften in the knees and pull the hamstrings towards straight. Or maybe you use the hands to traction the heart closer towards the earth. When you've had enough, you can soften in the knees and release the palms of the hands. Bow in and inhale to find a halfway lift, growing nice and tall. Exhale, belly button into drape. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up, feeling your height. Drive the feet into the earth as you exhale, hands to heart center. And we'll come to the front of our mat for the next part of our flow. Big toes are touching, inch of space between the heels. Stand nice and strong, zip up the inner thighs. Inhale, sit the hips back and swing the arms back. As you exhale, swing the arms overhead and sit into chair pose, Utkatasana. Squeeze the glutes and lengthen out of the waist. Look down and make sure that you can still see your toes. If you can't because your knees are in the way, stick your butt out. Relax the shoulders away from the ears and breathe into the length of your spine. Find an inhale to lengthen. As you exhale, swan dive and bow forward and in. Inhale for a flat back, and exhale, drape back over. You'll bend in the knee and straighten out the right leg, separating the feet to hip width apart. Place the left hand just in front of the face on the earth and inhale, peel the right hand open for a twist. Really allow a generous bend in the knee and feel a lengthening through the outside edge of the right leg. Inhale into the length of your spine and exhale, release over. Switch the bend of the knee and replace the left hand with the right and peel the left hand open for the twist. You'll notice a tendency to roll the shoulder forward. Keep both shoulders rolling flat on the back, widening through the collarbones and chest. As you exhale, bring the left hand back to the earth. Inhale, find a halfway lift, feeling the length of both legs. As you exhale, you'll plant the hands and step the left foot back to a lunge. You can lower the back knee down and untuck the toes. And with an inhale, you'll bring the hands up high overhead. We'll come into Anjaneyasana, a nice low crescent. Let the shoulders relax away from the ears. Use the weight of your body to ease the front of the left hip open. With an inhale, you'll pick up the hips and lengthen out the front leg, finding a hamstring stretch. You can have a little bend in the knee. Keeping the right hip pulled back. You may want to make a few adjustments here, just feeling what works for you. If it feels good to have the back toe tucked, please do so. I tend to prefer to have mine untucked. Inhale, rock the hips back forward and plant the hands. You'll tuck the back toes under and lengthen out behind the back knee. Right foot comes back to meet the left in a plank, and you'll lower down to the earth, chaturanga through, lower knees, chest, chin, elbows in tight. Roll through the top of the head for upward dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, send the hips up and back for down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, letting the heels drip. Inhale, gaze at the hands. Exhale, step, hop, float to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift, nice and long. Exhale, drape over, nice and easy. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up, hands meet high overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samastitihi. Big toes are touching, inch of space between the heels, inner thighs zipped up. Inhale, sit back, sweep back. Exhale, arms overhead for Utkatasana, chair pose. Let the shoulders relax away from the ears as you exhale. Can you sit it back a little deeper? Inhale, lengthen in the waist, and exhale, bow through for a forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift and drape over. Separate the feet to hip width apart and bend the right knee, straightening the left. Place the right hand right in front of the face and inhale to peel the left hand open for a twist. Lengthen out of the spine and feel a lengthening through the left waist and outside of the left thigh. As you exhale, let the left hand lower down and replace the right. Switch the bend in the knee and inhale, peel the right hand open for the twist. Reach long through the top of the head and roll the shoulders away from the ears. With an exhale, the right hand gently comes down to the earth. You'll inhale, straighten both legs for a flat back, finding that halfway lift. Exhale, belly button to spine, plant the hands, send the right foot back for a lunge. Take a moment to settle in, and then lower the back knee down, untuck the toes. Inhale, bring the hands high overhead. Exhale, settle into your crescent. Feel the length of the crescent. If you reach long through the fingertips and through the back foot, you'll feel how this whole curve widens and lengthens for you. With an inhale, you'll pick up the hips, place the hands on the earth, send them back, lengthening through the front leg, flex the toes towards the face, finding a hamstring stretch, a modified Hanumanasana. Keeping the left hip pulled back, feel very square through the torso. Can you make some space between the shoulders and the ears? Inhale, rock the hips back forward, plant the hands and tuck the back toe under the lengthen out behind the back knee. Release the left foot back to a plank, and chaturanga through, lowering down. Roll through upward dog, and exhale, send the hips up and back to down dog, letting the heels relax to the earth. Inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands. Exhale, and step, hop, float towards the front of your mat, bowing in for the forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, drape over. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up, drive into the feet to lift. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Going back in, inhale, drive the feet into the earth. Sit it back, sweep it back, sending the inner thighs back towards the back of the room. Let the shoulders relax away from the ears. Inhale the length of your spine, and exhale, sit a little deeper. Inhale for the reach once more, and as you exhale, bow forward into a forward fold. Inhale, find the halfway lift. Exhale, drape and separate the feet to hip width apart. You'll bend in the left knee, straighten out the right, left hand in front of the face. Inhale, peel the right hand open. Exhaling into the length. Inhaling to expand, and exhaling to bring the right hand back down to the earth, switching. The hands switch, knees swap. Inhale to peel the left hand open. Exhale into the length of the shape. Inhale to expand further, and as you exhale, left hand back down towards the mat. Bowing in. Inhale for your halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, left foot back for the lunge, right foot is forward. Lower the knee down right away and untuck the toes. Inhale, hands high overhead. Exhale into the shape, sinking deep. Inhale, lift the hips right away for the hamstring stretch, pulling the hip back, lengthening through the hamstring. We'll come into Stargazer, rocking the hips back forward, plant the hands and pivot the back left shin so it's parallel with the short edge of the mat. Placing the left hand at the back of the mat, we'll reach the right hand up and over, lengthening through the right leg along the mat. So I'm driving my left knee into the earth to lift my hips. My left hand is echoing that through the torso. I'm opening out my right side body nice and long. To exit this, I'll exhale and sit my hips back, swing my right arm around, bend in my right knee, and plant my right hands on either side of the foot. Return back to a straight-legged lunge, right foot front, and send the right foot back to meet the left. Chaturanga through from a plank, lowering to knees, chest, chin, finding upward dog, and sending the hips up and back for down dog. Inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands. Exhale, step, hop, float, bow in, forward fold. Bring the big toes to touch and leave an inch of space between the heels. Zip up the inner thighs. Inhale, sit it back, sweep it back. Exhale, arms up overhead for chair pose. Sitting in deeper. Can you still see your toes? Can you soften the shoulders away from the ears? Inhale, find the length out of the waist. Zip up the core. Exhale, bow for a forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift, flat back, reaching long. Exhale, drape over. You'll bend in the right knee, separating the feet to hip width apart. Straighten out the left, place the right hand in front of the face, and inhale to peel the left hand open. Exhale into the shape. Inhale once more to expand it. And exhale, left hand comes back down to the mat. It'll replace the right, and you'll switch the bend in the knees. Inhale, peel the right hand open. Finding this nice lengthened chest. As you exhale, the right hand will come back down to the mat, bowing in. Inhale, find your halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands and the right foot goes back for the lunge. Left foot is forward. Lower the back knee down and untuck the toes. Inhale, come on up for your low crescent, really feeling the hips sink as you exhale. Inhale, pick up the hips, pull them back, straightening out the left leg. You'll flex the left foot, finding a hamstring stretch. Hands come to the earth to support you. Pulling the left hip back, can you lengthen through the waist, keeping the shoulders away from the ears? Nice and square and relaxed through the torso. Breathing into the hamstring and feeling it open. Inhale, you'll rock the hips back forward, bending in the left knee. Plant the hands on either side of the foot and spin the back shin so it's parallel with the short edge of your mat. Bringing the right hand this time to the back of your mat, plant strong, and inhale to reach the left hand up and over. Straighten out the left leg and feel this connection all the way from the toes to the fingertips. Can you reach through the tops of the feet like roots growing into the earth? Feeling the side body open. As you exhale, send the hips back towards the heel and swing the left hand out in front of you. Walk the hands to the front of your mat and release the right leg back to a lunge. Send the left foot back to a plank to meet nice and strong. Zip up the core. Exhale, lower down, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, rolling through for your upward dog over the tops of the feet. Grow through the top of the head, heart lifted. Exhale, send the hips up and back. Find the down dog, heels dripping, nice and easy. Inhale, soften in the knees and gaze towards the hands. Exhale, find your step, hop, float at the top of the mat, bowing in for your forward fold when you get there. Inhale and reverse swan dive all the way up, driving the heels into the earth. Feel the hands lift high. And exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Take a moment to breathe. This is our last round. Step on up, toes touching, inch of space between the heels. Inhale, sit it back, sweep it back for chair pose. Arms reach high overhead. Shoulders release away from the ears. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, find your flat back. Exhale, belly button to spine to drape. Separate the feet to hip width apart. Bend the left knee and straighten out the right leg. Left hand goes in front of the face. Inhale to peel the right hand open for the twist. Exhaling into the shape. Inhale to drink it in new. Exhale, right hand comes down to the earth, replaces the left. Switch the bend in the knees, and inhale to peel the left hand open. As you exhale, bring the left hand back to the earth, bowing in. Inhale for the flat back. Exhale, plant the hands and step the left foot back for the lunge. Lower the back knee down and untuck the toes, and inhale right away into your crescent, keeping the right hip pulled back, left hip sending forward. Settle the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale to lift the hips and straighten out the right leg. Pull the right foot back to flex and find your hamstring stretch. How much length can you get out of the torso? As you inhale, rock it back forward and plant the hands. Spin the left shin so it's parallel with the short edge of the mat. Place the left hand by the back of the mat and inhale to reach the right hand up and over. Can you spin the right heart to stack on top of the left, reaching long through the right leg? Feel the stargazer open up. As you exhale, send the right hips back. Swing the right hand up overhead to bring yourself back around to the front of your mat. Release the left leg back behind you and tuck the toes under, lengthen out behind the back knee. Send the right foot back to the plank and chaturanga through, lowering knees, chest, chin. Inhale for your upward dog, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, hips up and back for down dog, Adho Mukha. Letting the heels drip. Inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands. Exhale, step, hop, float. Find the forward fold at the top of your mat, bowing in. Big toes come to touch, inch of space between the heels. Inner thighs spinning back. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, bow through. Inhale, sit back, sweep back, bending in the knees. Exhale, arms overhead. Make sure you can still see your toes when you look down at your knees. Exhale to sit deeper. Squeeze the glutes and lengthen in the waist. Inhale, and exhale, bow for a forward fold. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale, bow and separate the feet to hip width apart. Bend the right knee and straighten out the left leg. Place the right hand in front of the face. Inhale to peel the left hand open for the twist, reaching the spine long out of crown and tail. Exhale, left hand comes back down to the earth. You switch the bend in the knee, and you'll inhale, peel the right hand open. As you exhale, right hand will come back down to the earth. Inhale for the flat back. Exhale, plant the hands and step the right foot back for the lunge. Left foot will be front. Lower the back knee down and untuck the toes. And inhale, sweep it on up for your crescent. Can you sink the hips nice and deep? Inhale, find the lift. Hands come to the earth. Straighten out the left leg and pull the left toes back to flex in the ankle, finding the hamstring stretch. Inhale, rock the hips back forward and plant the hands. Spin the right shin so it's parallel with the short edge of your mat, and the right hand will plant at the back of the mat. Straighten out the left leg and inhale, reach nice and long out of the left arm. How much length can you find here, breathing into this space? Pressing the earth away and opening out the side body. As you exhale, you'll send the hips back, swing the left arm back in front of you, and walk your hands around towards the front of your mat, bending in the left knee. Release the right leg back to the lunge, tucking the toes under and lengthening out behind the back knee. Send the left foot back to meet the right in a plank, and chaturanga through, keeping the elbows pinned in, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, roll through the top of the head over the tops of the feet, press the earth away. Exhale, hips up and back, find the down dog. Inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands. Exhale, step, hop, float, and find your forward fold at the top of your mat, bowing in nice and easy. Inhale, find the flat back. And exhale, drape over. Inhale, reverse swan dive and come all the way up, reaching out in all directions. Inhale and sit back, sweep back for chair pose. Swing the arms up overhead, squeeze the glutes and lengthen out of the waist. Inhale and exhale to sit a little deeper. Inhale the length of your spine, and exhale, bow forward for a forward fold. Inhale for the flat back, and exhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back for a lunge. Spin the heel down to the mat so it's parallel with the short edge, and leading with the left fingertips, cartwheel your way up into Warrior Two. As you settle in, you'll lengthen out the left leg and bend the right knee. Make sure that the right knee is tracking over the right toes. If they're falling in, be sure to squeeze through the right glute to keep the knee open. Place the hands on the hips and make sure hips are square towards the side of your mat, shoulders even with it. Reach the arms nice and long in either direction. Let the shoulders relax away from the ears. You might notice a tendency to reach forward towards the front of the mat, but make sure to keep the shoulders stacked on top of the hips. Inhale to straighten out your right leg and swing the hips towards the back of the mat as far as you can. From there, you'll reach out of the right hand as far forward. When you can't reach anymore, the right hand will find either the shin or the floor, either in front of the ankle or behind the ankle. This is where I recommend the use of a block. Using a block helps keep the heart in line so you can focus on lengthening out of the waist. This pose is deceptive because if you lengthen out of the left side of the waist, you might ignore the right, but can you make just as much space out of the right side of the waist as you do the left? Feeling the fullness of your triangle pose, driving the feet into the earth to access this width. On your next exhalation, you'll look down at your standing leg and bend the right knee. Driving the foot into the earth, you'll upright through Warrior Two with an inhale, and with an exhale, you'll cartwheel your hands back down to the mat, framing the front foot, releasing the back heel. Right foot goes back to meet the left in a plank, and you'll chaturanga through, lowering knees, chest, chin, coming through upward dog, and sending the hips up and back to downward dog. From down dog, you'll inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands, and you'll exhale, step, hop, float, find the forward fold at the top of your mat, bowing in. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale to bow. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up, bringing the hands high overhead, and exhale, bring them back to heart center, drive through the heels to lift tall. Interlace the hands behind the back and take Shiva Mudra, thumb and index finger extended. Roll the shoulders back and down and send your mudra down towards the earth. Pull the toes up towards the face and drive the heels into the earth. Inhale, sit it back for chair pose. As you exhale, release the bind and send the arms up overhead, reaching out of the waist and out of the fingertips. Inhale, lengthen through the waist. And exhale, find yourself bowing forward, forward fold. Inhale for the flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step the right foot back for the lunge. Seal the right heel down to the mat, keeping the outside edge of the foot parallel with the short edge of the mat. And inhale, right fingertips, cartwheel your way up into Warrior Two. Settle into your stance and reach long through the fingers. Inhale, roll the shoulders down away from the ears and lengthen through the waist. Straighten out the left leg and swing the hips back towards the back of the mat. Reach out of the left fingertips as far forward as you can. When you can't reach anymore, you bring the hand either to the ankle or maybe the earth in front or behind. Take a block if you need. You may find that you need to adjust your setting between the right and the left sides. Press strong through the standing hand and lengthen across the wingspan. Can you find length out of the left side of the waist just as much as the right? Breathing the spine long, send the tailbone towards the back of the room, the crown towards the front. Gently gaze down at your left hand, and with an inhale, bend in your left leg, drive into the earth, and bring yourself back up through Warrior Two. Inhale strong through this shape, really stopping and honoring this pose. And exhale as you cartwheel the hands down to the earth. Framing the front foot, you'll release the back heel off the mat and send the left foot back to meet the right in a plank. Chaturanga through to wash everything clean. Lowering knees, chest, chin, you'll inhale for your upward dog. Exhale, send the hips up and back for down dog. letting the shoulders drip away from the ears. Reach the sits bones back. Inhale, soften in the knees. Gaze towards the hands when you're ready. Exhale, step, hop, and float. Find the top of your mat in a forward fold. You'll inhale for the halfway lift. Find the flat back, reaching out a tailbone and crown equally. Exhale, drape back down, forward fold in. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up, reaching long in all directions. Hands meet overhead. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center, samastitihi. Breathe. Inhale and interlace the hands behind the back with Shiva Mudra. Exhale and roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Inhale and sit it back for chair pose. Exhale, release the bind and swing the arms overhead for chair pose, sinking a little deeper. Inhale into the length of your spine, squeezing the glutes, lift out of the waist. Exhale, bow through for the forward fold, nice and easy. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands and step the left foot back. Spin the left heel to the mat and seal it. Leading with the left fingertips, you'll come on up for warrior two. Lifting out of the waist, exhale and let the shoulders settle away from the ears. Reaching long out of both hands, feel the expansiveness of this shape. You'll bring the left hand to meet the right, and similar to pulling back an archer's bow, you'll straighten out the right leg and pull the right hip crease back, swinging the hips. Feel the strong aim and reach long out of the right hand as you come into your triangle pose, bringing the hand to the earth, shin, or block. Press strong through the right hand and roll the heart open. Lengthen out of the right side of the waist. Feel the stability of this shape. When you've had enough, you'll gaze down at your right hand. Inhale to bend the right knee and right yourself back up through warrior two. We'll come into our final pose, Skandasana. We'll inhale, straighten out the right leg, and you'll bring the feet to parallel, facing the short edge of the mat. From here, you'll release the heels in slightly. This angle will be unique to you as well as the distance between your heels. You'll flex the right toes up towards the hip and gently descend in the left knee bending. You can place the hands on the earth. You want to sit the hips straight down. This is like a half squat. You'll lengthen out through the spine, similar to what you find in chair pose. You do have the option to place a block underneath the sits bones. This can make a very active pose, very open. However, without the block, you'll allow yourself to fight for that openness, driving the left foot into the earth, lengthening through the spine. You can take Shiva Mudra and thumb and index finger, sending the whole shape overhead. Can you relax the shoulders away from the ears and lengthen through the spine, reaching nice and long? Exhale, bring the hands back to the heart, plant them on the earth, and bring yourself to a wide forward fold, straightening out both legs, turning the feet towards parallel, bowing in. Maybe you sway side to side, releasing any tension. Walk yourself back around to the front of your mat, bending in the right knee. Send the right foot back to meet the left in a plank and chaturanga through, lowering knees, chest, chin. Coming for upward dog, sending the hips up and back for down dog, letting the heels drape. Giving a moment to settle. Inhale, soften in the knees and gaze towards the hands. Exhale, step, hop, and float. Find the forward fold at the top of your mat, bowing in. Final side, final flow. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, drape over. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up. Hands meet overhead. They come to heart center with an exhale. Interlace the hands behind the back, thumb and index finger for Shiva Mudra. Inhale, roll the heart open. Exhale to release any air through the chest. Inhale, sit the hips back, sweep it back for chair pose. Exhale, release the bind and send the arms up overhead. Utkatasana. Let the shoulders sink away from the ears. Inhale, lengthen out of the spine. And exhale, bow through forward fold. Inhale, find your flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands and send the right foot back, spinning the heel down to the mat, sealing the outer edge to the floor for warrior two. Right fingertips lead the way, settling in. Feeling long and strong through the torso. Can the shoulders drape away from the ears? Can you sink a little deeper? Bring the right hand forward to meet the left and pull your archer's bow back, straightening out the left leg and pulling the hips towards the back of the mat. Reach long out of the left hands and allow the hand to come to shin, floor, or block. Press strong into the earth and roll the heart open, getting every last bit out of this pose. Lengthen through the top of the head and the tail. Exhale, gaze back down at the left hand. You'll bend in the left knee. Pressing strong into the earth, you'll upright yourself to Warrior Two, and we'll come into Skandasana. You'll inhale and straighten out the left leg, bringing the feet parallel to the short edge of the mat. You'll gently bring your heels in at an angle, flexing through the left foot. The toes flex towards the hip, and you gently descend in the right knee, bringing the hands to the earth as you settle into Skandasana. The hips descend, and the crown lifts, lengthening through the torso. Can you open the heart and breathe? There's a lot of activity within this pose, but with time it can open to you and become very restful and soothing. You can take Shiva Mudra in the thumb and index fingers. With an inhale, you can send that shape up overhead, reaching from tail through fingertips. Breathe into the shape and soften where you can. Unclench the jaw. Soften behind the neck and inside the ears. Bring the hands to the earth and straighten out your right leg, returning the feet to parallel with the short edge of the mat, finding yourself in a wide forward fold. We'll begin to cool down now, bringing the hands over to the left ankle, and we'll bring the forehead in front of the left shin. You can sit a little into the left hip if needed, breathing through that outside edge of the leg. With an exhale, you may begin to bend in the right knee, just leveraging a deeper stretch for yourself. That little bit of softening can go a long way. Inhale to straighten the right leg, and release the hands, returning back to center. Just passing through, the hands will come over to the right ankle, bringing the forehead towards the right shin, sitting into the right hip, and lengthening outside that edge of the leg. If you wish, you can bend in the left knee, leveraging a deeper stretch, using the breath to guide this. Inhale to straighten the leg back out, and walk the hands back towards center, bowing in. From here, you can take the peace fingers to the big toes, or just grab a hold of the ankles or outside edge of calves if feels good. With this bind, I can draw my heart closer to the earth, bringing my elbows wide, sending my hips towards the sky. It's a deeper fold here. Gently release the bind and take a moment here. We'll make our way onto our seat, placing the hands in front of the face and lowering on down, and we'll come into a tabletop. So you release the hands back behind the hips, bending the knees and bring the feet flat on the earth. You want the feet and knees hip-width apart. The fingertips can point towards the front of the mat, or it may feel more comfortable for you to have them spinning towards the back of the mat. I personally like to keep them facing towards the front. You'll roll the heart open and press into the hands to lift the heart towards the ceiling. Inhale and lengthen in the spine, and as you exhale, press the feet into the earth to lift the hips up for the tabletop position. You can balance the chin towards the chest if you'd like. However, you may find it more comfortable to allow the head to release back. If you have neck issues, maybe leave that out. Squeeze the glutes and lift the hips to keep them in line. Press the earth away. This is a heart opener and a back bend. When you've had enough, you can gently exhale and lower the hips down to the earth. You'll straighten out strong through the legs, lift high through the torso with an inhale, and as you exhale, you'll bow over for a forward fold. Maybe you take a hold of the outside edge of the feet, maybe peace fingers around big toes again, maybe calves or ankles, whatever is accessible to you. What's important here is that you let the heart lead forward. If the shoulders are creeping up by the ears, you've gone too far. You can back out and invite some space in and around the face and jaw and neck. From here, you'll gently roll on up to sit and find your way down onto the back, hugging the knees into the chest, nice and tight. Crossing in the ankles if you'd like. You can give a few rocks side to side to release any tension. Take any other poses that may call to you as you settle in and find your way to Shavasana. You can draw little circles in the knees, massaging the low back on the earth, and maybe you switch directions if you do so. When you've had enough of that, you can come to Happy Baby, releasing the ankles. The hands can grab a hold of the outside edge of the foot or piece fingers around the big toes. In this case, I like to grab the outside edge of my feet. Rolling my shoulders open and keeping my chest nice and long, my torso lengthens. I find lots of space between my armpits and my hips as my knees fall wide on either side of my torso. My feet press into the hands to open the hips, and my hands pull back to resist the feet to open the heart. I can seal my low back to the earth and really get some great lengthening out of my spine here. When you've had enough, you can gently release the bind, shake anything out, and make your way to Shavasana. As you settle into Shavasana, you may notice some places where you might still be holding tension. As you come onto the mat, you might notice that you can soften in the hips and allow the feet to fall away from each other. Softening in the center of the chest and across the face. Can you exhale and release those places where you're still holding? As you settle into this quiet space in your Shavasana, invite in this low tide of the new moon. Invite in these clear new directions. Invite in this quiet space, full insight into you. And gently deepening your next inhale, begin to wiggle the fingers and toes, inviting your awareness back into the body. Begin to circle in the ankles and wrists and let that movement grow, and maybe it turns into reaching the arms up overhead and flexing through the feet, reaching out of the heels, getting a nice good stretch. Releasing all of that. You can find your way to a fetal position lying on either side, cradling the head with the lower arm. Take a moment to pause in this closed-in space, noticing how you feel now versus when you first came onto your mat, and thanking yourself for every bit of that. You can gently press yourself up to a seated position. If you'd like, you can place a block under the hips. Anything that keeps the hips higher than the knees will feel really a little bit better. And as you settle in for this final moment, I want to thank you for practicing with me. Enjoying your breath, noticing this energy that you've cultivated. Allow yourself to take that with you into your day or your evening to share it with the world. Namaste, friends, and have a happy new moon.